Hey, what's up? It's Tiffany. Before we get started on this week's episode, please be sure to send us your requests at booshakalakapodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Twitter X, Booshakalakapod. You can also find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Instagram at Booshakalakapodcast. Hey, everybody. Greetings and salutations. I am your host, Tiffany, and joining my co-hosts, are you a Heather?
I am a Heather.
Wonderful. I just wanted to make sure that everybody knew that I am not, but I do share a very 80s type of name. Or was Heather a 70s name? Heather's might have been a 70s name.
I feel like the 80s. I feel like it was a good 80s name.
Yeah, because there ain't nobody using it now. Think about it. Our names date us. You know we are at least in our 30s if our names are Heather or Tiffany. Like, for sure. I don't know which era Pierre came out in. I don't know, like 1490.
Okay.
Not quite sure. So you are ancient. Super ancient. But hey, guys, we're here with a request from Gabrielle. Gabrielle, we want to thank you so much for requesting Heathers. It is a movie I've definitely seen before. Pierre, have you seen it before?
Yes, I saw it in college, but maybe I wasn't paying attention before because this was not the movie that I remember.
I didn't remember it. It went from Heathers to School Psycho about 45 minutes into the movie. I was very confused.
I thought this ended very differently, but okay.
But the synopsis is, at Westerburg High, where cliques rule, jocks dominate, and all the popular girls are named Heather, it's going to take a Veronica and a mysterious new kid to give teen angst a body count.
That's not accurate at all.
I mean, yes, it kind of is.
Well, trigger warning, because I feel like, and maybe it was because it was 1989, they weren't taking a lot of this too seriously. I couldn't tell what was the message of this movie. I couldn't tell because it went on. The thing about it, there was a lot of dialogue though, not like
for me to actually take notes, which is why I feel like this is kind of going to be a shorter review because all they were doing was talking at times. Like, girl, shut up.
So we start Heather's off.
With the dream sequence, it's got to be.
It looked very. Whenever you say dream sequence, I think of Freddy Krueger, the Dream Child. I mean, not the Dream Child, Dream Warriors, or was it?
Or maybe she was just imagining.
It just looked glossy. That's what that glossy filter. That's what it looked like when they were playing croquet.
So she definitely wasn't for real.
Right.
But we hate them already. We hated them at first croquet swing because they had stepped on people daisies and everything.
So basically the dream sequence is to establish that there are three Heathers. We have Heather Duke, we have Heather McNamara, and we have the leader, Heather Chandler of the group. They're also color-coded. They look like the Powerpuff Girls. Ooh. They look like the Powerpuff Girls.
What?
I guess maybe that's what the Powerpuff Girls got the colors from, or maybe those are just girl colors. I don't know.
It could be a lot of our movies that we enjoyed in the 90s and the early 2000s ripped a ton from Heathers. Like, they owe Heathers their life. Yes, they owe Heathers their life.
This is the precursor to Jawbreaker. This is the precursor to Mean Girls. It all came from Heathers. And we get Veronica, who's played by Winona Ryder, and she's friends with them, or she's sort of, I want to say, it's giving initiation. She's trying to get in the clique, basically. So basically, they have her.
I don't think she's trying. I think she's in.
Well, then maybe
I think she's trying to.
She's struggling with her morality.
She got one foot in and one foot out.
Yeah, we talk about this a lot on the pod. She's one of those people who's friends with terrible people, but then she's like wrestling with her conscience and her morality because they start the movie off very quickly.
Did you see that I didn't call her our girl Veronica, right?
I did.
Okay.
So they have her because I'm guessing she's a good writer and she's good at imitating other people's handwritings. So they have her write a note that is supposed to be from a jock, and she gives it to Large Marge.
Martha. Oh. Her name was Martha.
I thought it was Marge.
Nope, it was Martha.
Okay.
You wanted it to be Large Marge, weirdo.
So Martha is a plus-size girl. She's very husky. She's
very, as what I would like to call, average.
Oh. I would have given her butch.
Like she wakes up in the morning, washes her face, brushes her teeth, runs the comb through her hair, and goes to school.
She did not run a comb through her hair, but let's not lie.
I'm just saying there isn't a lot of effort put into her every day. Like, she's not wearing makeup. She's clean, bare skin. Period. Yeah. That's what I'm trying to say.
But she doesn't need it. Like, I don't know. I don't know. Because
I don't know. I probably would have been Martha's friend because Martha probably was pretty funny.
Yeah. Oh no, I know she was hilarious. But she's also
she couldn't be her true self, and I just hated that because Martha said, "I'm not going to be bulimic because bulimic is so 87."
So she gives the note. They put the note on Martha's tray, and she reads it, and she goes over to the jock. They laugh at her. She's humiliated. All while this is happening, Veronica's being stalked by Jason. I was about to call him Jason Voorhees. He's not even worthy. Just somebody we know that guy, and he just doesn't look like Christian Slater. Christian Slater, did you find him attractive when he was younger?
Mm.
He looks interesting.
He looks like he would. He has very evil looking eyes.
Okay, girl.
And I think that's like, I don't think it might not be the eyes. It might be the eye and the eyebrow combo. Just how
okay, because were they not done? Or is her eyebrows just naturally like that? Because I was like, wait a minute, that looks like an arch.
I mean, it could just be he just has scary eyes. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, it's a thing. People have dead eyes. People have doughy eyes. He just got scary eyes.
He looks, I don't know. He gives me lizard eyes because it's like the like snake eyes, like they go inward and then
I hated the way he stared at her. That would have made me so uncomfortable. Like you're not attractive enough to be staring at me and for me to think, okay, I'll let you in. You're not attractive. You remember that? Has you ever seen that Saturday Night Live skit where the people at the office, there was like one attractive guy, or I'm sorry, there was one old guy. And he was just like harassing all the women. They're like, oh, that's just Steve. That's just Steve. And then this other guy would say something not even remotely as crazy. And they're like, I'm calling HR just because he was ugly.
Yeah. Pretty privileged. We also
men have it too.
We also see a plot point that Heather Duke is bulimic. I guess it comes up later, but anyway.
I mean, she eats a piece of chicken later, so I guess she's over it. I don't know.
Yeah, she gets over it after events happen. Veronica introduces herself to Jason Dean, played by, I was about to call him Seth Rogen, Christian Slater.
You've already said his name once already.
I know, so weird. The jocks get jealous that he's there. The 80s bully stuff was weird to me. Like, because they're like, hey, we should kick his ass. No, we're seniors, but let's go scare him. And they decide to go scare Jason Dean, who's apparently a new student. He's from New York, but I don't know. Christian Slater just sounds weird. I don't know what his accent is. He just sounds like somebody I don't want in my ear. And they go over and try to like rough him, tough him. And this MFer pulls out a gun and goes blam, blam.
I thought this was another dream sequence. And then they just brush it off, talking about, oh, it was just fake. It was just blanks.
Yeah, he brought a gun to school and shot blanks at them, and he's not expelled. He doesn't get in-school suspension, detention. He just comes to school the next day. Maybe the 80s didn't care that much about gun, like when was Columbine? Maybe it wasn't, I don't know.
99.
I just feel like I couldn't.
There had been school shootings before Columbine.
Yeah, so I'm like,
it's a movie. We got to stop. It's a movie.
Okay. I was just
fiction.
They just
it's
blew
fiction.
It off.
It's fiction. It's fiction. One of my favorite quotes in the movie. So after that happens, we see our. Almost called her our girl. No, ma'am.
You almost said it.
Veronica's at home with her. Well, she plays a game of croquet with the girls again, and they belittle everybody. They're still all big biatches. And we see her go home, and she's just talking to her parents very like nonchalantly, like they're friends. Like they don't have a mother, father, daughter type of relationship. They are buddies. And she says, "Great pate. I got a motor if I'm gonna make it to this party." And when that part came up a little later, I laughed out loud. But I got a motor if I'm gonna make it. And her and Heather Chandler are headed over to Remington College's frat party.
I'm glad
they go to a gas station, and Heather says, "Hey, can you get some corn nuts?" And she's like, "What flavor? BQ or original?" Who says BQ?
Isn't it BBQ anyway?
Hello, barbecue. And Heather says BQ. Duh.
You're making it sound.
When you eat barbecue flavored corn nuts, your breath smells for like a good 24 hours. Who would eat corn nuts before going to a party? I could taste like the flavor. You could eat them. Later that night, brush your teeth, floss, still nasty. The flavor just sticks, like it just gravitates to your tongue, and it just burrows in like a fucking groundhog, and it does not come out. It is disgusting. Good Lord. You know what? Amanda used to eat fucking corn nuts all the time, barbecue and ranch flavor, and I hate her for it.
So before they go to the college party, Jason and Veronica do hang out. So they already get a report, and he just basically says he don't like her friends. Now that they're at the party, it's like Veronica
for no reason, because he doesn't even know them.
Right. Veronica got sick. And she's just kind of like chilling. There's a lot of, I mean, it's the 80s. That pate? Hello? And the pate, the corn chips, and the drinking?
Girl, like, it's just funky.
So she's just not feeling it. And really, it looks like a boring party. Because why are there so many empty rooms? And this guy's trying to hit on her. She not feeling it. And she goes to her friend, and she's like, friend, I'm ready to go. Girls, this is the time to clock in. Friend says she's ready to go. It's time to go. Heather's like, no, I'm trying to still do stuff, trying to get with this guy, that guy, but you by yourself in the hallway too, girl. So Veronica ends up throwing up, and I guess that embarrasses Heather.
No, she threw up on her shoes.
Still, well, I'd be pissed too. But I told you I told you I needed to go. Shoes. I told you I needed to go. So they go outside and have the most iconic lines of the movie. You stupid fuck. You goddamn bitch.
This is where they got the idea from Serial Mom. You bitch.
So they basically just argue, and Heather is like, look, I made this again, jawbreaker. I made you, and I can break you just as easily. I'm gonna tell everybody at school what you did. You're gonna be done, girl. You're done.
All she did was throw up. How embarrassing would that have been for her?
At a college party.
Not really embarrassing. They'd be like, oh, Veronica, you got so wasted. Ha 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 ha.
It's 80s stuff, so I don't know
how things work. Was out by then. We know how rambunctious those frat parties.
You're making my stomach hurt, this review.
Well, go get you some Tums, Grandpa.
So Veronica get in her journal, and she has terrible handwriting. This is when they were actually letting the actresses write in movies, and she's just going off. She's like, I hate Heather. I want her dead. I want her dead. I want her to just throw up and die and all this kind of stuff. She's just venting. Jason over through the...
Yeah, she's regretting her. She misses her old friends.
Yeah. Jason come through the window like he Billy Loomis.
So Billy Loomis came in the window like he Jason.
Hello. But at least she was on the first floor. And he's just basically like, oh, well, you mad at her. I don't like her. So let's get her. Let's make her gag. They break into this girl's house. Where are the parents? The same place as Liz Purr's parents were. And
the same place where Sydney's dad is.
Look, he had
the same place my parents were when I was a kid.
With Uncle Escobar.
Hello, latchkey kids.
You got to step on it before you sell it.
Mount up.
All right, so they're gonna basically gag her with drain cleaner. I'm like, what happened?
No. She was going to mix orange juice with milk to try to make her throw up. Mm-hmm. Jason said, "Let's give her some drain cleaner instead." And she convinces him not, but still, it ends up back in the room. They go to wake Heather up. Heather cusses them the fuck out. Because I would talk about what you in my house for.
Can we talk about how they wanted to put it in a glass, and then he was like, "Oh, well, we'll just put it in a mug. That way she can't see it." I don't know who would fall for this. Look
at a mug, right?
Baby,
look.
I gotta make sure no roach.
Wait, hold on. we ain't got no blue Kool-Aid downstairs.
I'm like, so she not
gonna yeah. Like, get out of here. Don't play with me right
now. That was really good. But yeah, she cusses them the hell out because why are y'all in my house? How'd y'all get in my house? It was just too much dialogue for me. You would have to get the hell out. But it's weird because like he kind of like he's like, oh, I told you this was too much for her. And she's like, you really think I'm gonna do it for a dare? And then she drinks it anyway. And I'm like,
but when I put something up to my mouth, like you don't throw it back and swallow at the same time. You throw it back, your tongue tasted it. It would have been, she would have spit it out. Like this doesn't make sense to me.
Maybe it was a flavored.
It was fabuloso.
Look, I mean, kids eating Tide Pies. Let's not. Hey, so she gags and falls into her glass table, and Heather's dead as a doornail. So
I'm really trying to find what other ways people could be dead. People listening in, if you know any other ways for people to be dead other than a doornail, can you please let me know?
And
Thank
please,
you.
somebody find the movie where I got that from, because I don't know why it lives with
I
me.
want it to get out. I want to kick it in the ass and kick it back to the movie.
Has been dead as a
Please.
doornail? Because what is a doornail and why is it dead?
I don't know. Dead as a log, dead as a tree, dead as hair. I don't know anything else.
So
I want it out of here.
Veronica kind of is panicking, and then Jason is like, this was his idea the whole time. So he's like, oh, well, she wants to commit suicide. You know her handwriting, write a suicide note. And she writes a suicide note, and then they leave. And I'm like, it reminds me of when people said about Night Stalker, how all you had to do to get away with crime back then was just not be there when the cops got there. Because, I mean, fingerprints everywhere, DNA everywhere.
They had to make an example out of the right person to cause the outrage, to cause the uproar. That's why we have the processes we have now. Also what's going on in the world. They haven't the world now. They haven't pissed off the right person just yet.
Not at all.
Okay,
so Heather's dead, and it's just automatically ruled to suicide because they found a note, and I'm like, okay. And she's kind of, I was gonna say pariah, that's the wrong word. She's kind of celebrated in a way. It's like, oh, she was deep. She had all these deep thoughts and feelings. Teachers are like, she used the word myriad, right?
They wrote her depression off as to why she was so mean to people.
Yeah.
That's what they did. So that was their excuse. They do it again a little later in the movie with another death.
Yeah.
But the part that killed me is the teachers were talking about what's going on. They're like, oh, God, we can't give these kids a half a day. What the hell? Is this the Heather that's the cheerleader? He's like, no. He's like, oh, I would have gave a half a day for a cheerleader, but I'm not giving a half a day for this bitch. And they just they talk about her like she is nothing. Mm-hmm. And technically she is. We even get to a scene in the classroom where the teacher is like, we're going to pass around Heather's suicide note.
Okay, I wasn't, bruh.
And they wanted to put it in the yearbook.
I was like, first of all, but I kept trying to, because when we do these old reviews, I'm like, give it 80 slack. But I'm like, in what world would the police give a suicide note to the teacher? And then they just pass it around.
Way too much. I couldn't believe it. I know when you have someone in school that passes away while you're in school, they have a memoriam for them in the yearbook, but they ain't had no damn note attached.
So as everyone's mourning and trying to, get themselves together, Heather McNamara, she runs up on Veronica at the funeral. This is gonna be so funny because there's another movie that copied off of this movie. But she runs up on Veronica and like, hey, I want to go on a double date because I want to have sex with this guy. And she's like, well, I'm seeing Jason. She's like, girl, come on a date with this guy. And so they go. She's like, they're not gonna get drunk and tip cows. I didn't know that was a thing. But cow
tipping is a thing.
No, I mean taking girls on dates while you go tip cows.
We're from the country, but not that country.
Right. So they actually take him on a date to go tip cows, and they tip the cow over and it poos on them. But that turns Heather on, and she's just on the ground getting busy, getting plowed. The other guy, these men are so grabby in this movie. He's all trying to get with Veronica, and she's like, no, get the hell away from me. And I don't know, I guess he falls and faints because he's drunk, and then Jason pulls up and he's all pissed. And then they kiss, and I'm like, you're poo-pooed. And then they go home and play croquet and have sex. Where are her parents?
Well, she sees him the next day when she says, great pate, but I got a motor if I want to make it to that funeral.
It's almost like they don't have real conversations. Because I swear it's 2 sentences and then she calls the dad stupid and then she leaves.
Why am I smoking these cigarettes? Because you're an idiot. You're right.
Thank you. I'm like,
bye.
Okay.
Bye, daughter. See you next time we decide to talk for 5 minutes.
Well,
when they get back to Skew, here comes time for the rumor mill.
Yes. And this is where Heather Duke is eating chicken now because the other Heather died, she doesn't feel the pressure to stay skinny, so she's not bulimic anymore. So she's eating chicken in the girls' locker room and throwing it on the floor. That's why you don't eat, because you're disrespectful. So the rumor is that the two guys basically said that they got with Veronica, which is weird because it's like you were getting with her friend. So why would you start a rumor that you slept with Veronica? Like, there's people who can back that lie up. But okay. Jason hears about it, and Veronica's really mad. So they decide to get them back. And they hatch this little plan where they're gonna use, what kind of bullets did he say? Bullets that don't kill you. They just make you bleed.
They're kind of like tranquilizers.
Yeah, they're like tranquilizer bullets. I was like, the whole time.
You believe that girl?
Like, I understand you may not know that much about guns, but stop playing with me. But
you ain't that damn dumb,
right? Because she mentioned the blanks. So if you're not saying a blank, anything else you're saying is stupid to me. But she's gonna lure them out there. They're gonna shoot them, and then they're gonna put them in a little gay pose. So they go and buy some queer stuff. This movie is very homophobic.
They're gonna put them like Bobby and what was his name?
Bobby?
Right.
Hey.
At the end of the movie. I want to go shopping.
So she lures them out there, and she's like they get naked, and she's like, "Oh, I want y'all to get me at the same time." I'm like, what kind of shit is this? What movie? Men are
crazy. Men are crazy because I'd be like, "Girl, what you up to? In the woods?"
Right, and they're just in a big ass clearing. But yeah, so she's like, all right, 1, 2. And so she has a gun. Jason has a gun. So Jason comes from the tree. He shoots Kurt. And then what's the other one's name? It starts with a B.
No, he shoots Ram.
Oh, Ram. See, why did I say B? So he shoots Ram. And she's supposed to shoot Kurt, but she misses him. And so he goes running.
Kurt was gone. Now, this was a long ass chase scene.
Only for him to go in a circle. And
but I mean, he was down to his boxers and his socks. He had any shoes on or anything running in the woods. I know that was painful.
Right. I just don't understand how you managed to do a circle. You supposed to go in a straight line, baby. So he manages to run back up right by Veronica. And again, even when Ram is shot, she seemed like, oh my God. But then it's like, I don't know what's happening with her mentally.
I think she is fighting with they're dead, but he said XYZ and I want to believe him. And I do believe him. So I think she actually really thought that they were like tranquilizers, but the eyes were not moving.
Hello.
They were like he wasn't. Put your hand right here under the nose and see if you feel something. Smell my finger. Like, what are we doing? But no. So Kirk run around the corner and then what's his name? Jason shouts now, and she shoots Kirk, and now Kirk is dead.
Yeah. So,
but she still doesn't leave. I didn't.
And well, I feel like that's why I feel like she is kind of. I mean, she's clearly guilty too. They put them in their little. They put the guns in their hands. They put the gay stuff around. They leave
water. Do gays drink mineral water or sparkling water?
I was like, what is this supposed to prove? But yeah, they leave their little note.
Know.
The cops know. Now the cops are close by smoking weed, so they hear the gunshots and they go running up. How they managed to get away from this dumb cop? So they run to the car and they like get naked and like pretend that they're just making out. So he just assumes that they were just kids doing that, and they're like, hey. Come and the cops like, hey, come back. They were fags. And look, there's mineral water in this bag.
I knew it.
So their death, they get a double funeral, like Final Destination.
Baby.
And they got on
in the caskets.
Why they got on them helmets? They got on football helmets because they were on the football team, of course. Because this is our original jocks with Letterman jackets.
Oh my God.
And,
my son was gay, and I love my gay son.
Right, and so their death is.
If he told you that when you went dead.
Hello.
So
their death is they're
martyrs.
Yes, of homophobia, and everyone's just like, oh wow, like some people are like, oh, I can't believe it, and some people are like, oh wow, we got to stop being homophobic, even though they just say slurs throughout this whole damn movie. And another plot point. So as all this is happening, Veronica's wrestling with, is Jason crazy or not?
And that's when I said it earlier, this is when the guys die, that's when it's no longer a Heather's movie.
Yeah.
Like,
it's like they go to the back.
It's completely to the back burner. Like he comes up again, but it's very slight.
Because all that's really happening with the Heathers is Heather Duke, she got the red scrunchie out of Heather Chandler's.
No. Jason gave it to her.
Oh crap, he did. Jason is manipulative. He's a sociopath. So he basically gave Duke Chandler's red scrunchie. He's like, oh, you have power. You're the leader now, and I'm gonna call on you.
You
for
got
a
the
favor.
juice now, Grandma.
And basically, he's blackmailing her because she used to be friends with Marge back in the day when they were like literal
Martha.
Kids.
Don't call that girl Marge.
Who is Marge? Martha. Back in the day, and he's blackmailing her because it's like, oh, you were friends with the girl who's not cool. They were kids, but it's apparently can destroy her reputation.
No sense.
So she has to do something for him later. But now she's the leader. He's like, you have power. You're the leader of the Heathers. So take it over. So now she's the bitch of the school. But I don't really see her do too much bitchy besides like talking about people. She just
Heather Chandler was going around taking polls for people, and now Heather Duke now is going around taking petitions. So I guess everybody will sign her petition.
Yeah.
Which is not what it seems.
Right. She's asking everyone different things.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really all that there is to the Heathers besides what happens with Heather McNamara.
Yeah, a little later in the film, but who knows? But we find out that JD gets this from his daddy. Jason, JD is what they call him JD throughout the movie, but we don't like that name. So Jason gets it from, unless it's a Juris Doctor. Jason gets it from his daddy. And we find out that his daddy works with construction and he works with explosives. And he blew up a building that Jason's mother had went into 2 minutes prior to the building blowing up. So Veronica is like, oh, friends in the family. Hey, maybe I should get the hell out of here. But every time she tries to break up with him, he just starts kissing her and she's back in. And it's insane. She does break up with him this time. And I don't think it works. It doesn't work. But like now there's like suicide pacts going around the school. Martha, who is the only person, I'm not saying there's ever a reason for this, but I can see Martha being depressed by the constant bullying, people constantly picking on her. She actually walks out into traffic and tries to take her own life. It does not work, and she's just severely injured.
Right. I think what you're trying to say is someone who actually does it, because these people are being murdered. Let's be very clear. These people are being murdered. So yeah, she's just actually, she was just. But
they make fun of her because she doesn't pass away. They make fun of her for trying to mimic the popular kids that died. Like she's just doing it to make herself popular. Which
right. That's when Heather Duke gets slapped, like she should have been slapped many times.
She should. They tried to slap her again later in the movie, which they didn't get her.
Like she slapped her, and then she just went in her. They went in the room and just talked. Like it was just so. Yeah, while they're in the room talking, they're listening to the radio, talk show, and Heather McNamara calls, and she doesn't say her name, but because of the things she says, she's basically just talking about her depression, how she's not happy with her life, and she's just spilling her guts. And because they know these personal things about her, they deduce that it's her. So what does Heather Duke do? She tells everyone at the school that it was her, and she gets bullied and humiliated. And then she goes to the bathroom and tries to swallow a bunch of pills. Of course, Veronica runs after her, and she slaps it out of her hand. She's like, no, come on now, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna be good. Which I feel like that Heather may be the most human one, because we don't ever get anything negative from her. So maybe she was the most human, and it did seem like Veronica truly did care about her.
I don't know, but her time was taken over by Heather Chandler.
Yeah, but again, that's literally all we get from the Heathers. The Heathers are done. I don't know. It's now Jason Dean's movie.
See the other one. We see Duke again, but doesn't matter.
Right. So
Heather's back. Not Heather. I'm sorry. Veronica is back home, and her parents are sitting there having a fucking intervention. And they're like, hey girl, Jason stopped by. He said he's worried that you're going to attempt suicide. I'm like, now you want to talk to her? Now you want to take some time out of your day? Now you want to put the pate in the fridge? Like, girl, get out of here.
And she gives them the same rant, the same kind of rant that Tiffany.
Correct. But she realizes that Jason wants to take her out now. He's ready for her.
Right. She been having dreams about him killing the other Heathers. Like she just not, yeah, she like, oh, this motherfucker is actually crazy. So what she does is she gets the upper hand on him and she pretends to hang herself in her room. So
at first I was like, how is she doing this?
I didn't understand either until she took it off. I was like, but yeah, she's literally hanging when he comes through the window and he's like, oh my God, man, I came here to kill you. And he basically just starts venting and he's like, I came here to kill you, but I'm going to plant these bombs at the school and blow everybody the hell up. And then he just leaves when her mother is coming upstairs. So her mother comes upstairs and she's like, she doesn't even have a real reaction. She's just like,
nope.
I guess I pushed you too hard. And then she's like, what's wrong, Mom? She just raises up and she takes she had the sheet like under her belly, which I still don't understand. How?
So she had the sheet wrapped around her stomach. Then she had it wrapped around her neck. But I don't know how she hoisted herself up there. Her dad probably did it.
But now
they never know what's going on with her anyway. So
right. But now she knows his plan. But he thinks she's dead. So he goes to the school and he's just like literally planting bombs because they're having a pep rally this day. So he's planting bombs under the bleachers, and then he's gonna put them in the boiler room to like that's where the timer is gonna be. So she shows up to school. She running all through the halls, and she realizes like because they had just talked previously about the boiler room and about his mom going into the building and all that. So she heads down to the boiler room. I don't know where she gets his gun from. I don't know where she gets this gun from because it's his gun.
Maybe she took it out of his house while she was there previously. Not sure.
So she walk up like Reese, freeze, sucker. Suck my fat one, you cheap dime store hood. And he's like, wow. All right, stand by me. I'll put the bomb down. Oh. And then he just started whipping her ass. He knock her out.
He said, put the bomb down. Fight me like a man.
Rush Hour would never get old. Rush Hour would never.
Like, why? I know I watched it last week and I was like, this is still funny. The first one and the second one, that third one, I don't know about it. But the first and the second one are still amazing. My favorite part is when they're doing the bloopers and he's like, damn, he ain't gonna be in Rush Hour 3.
My favorite part from Rush Hour is when is when Lee escaped and he went into the building he wasn't supposed to go into. And so Carter's coming in.
I'm not Carl Lewis.
And he was like, hey, you seen a little skinny, you little short Asian dude? And he's like, go screw yourself. He's like,
get your sensitive ass on out of here.
Don't maybe get out of this truck. Like, and they just let him in. Like,
I'm not gonna be jumping over fences. I'm not Carl Lewis.
Like, oh man, Chris Tucker. But
that is good. That is funny.
They down there whipping each other's asses during this pep rally. She don't try to warn nobody. She don't try to like send out.
She didn't tell anybody.
Like I would have pulled the fire alarm or something. Did they have them back then? Hell, I don't know. But so she gets the gun and she just starts shooting at his ass. She shoots him one good time and he bleeding, and then she shoots him again and a knife. He has a knife in his hand and he just cuts the wire when he gets shot. Plot armor like crazy. More armor than these damn because one thing we have to mention and talk about is these damn shoulder pads. Like
shoulders got cold back in the 80s, baby.
Because there was a moment when Heather Duke bumped her with the shoulder. I was like, damn, her shoulder fucked up and she needs to go to the hospital because them shoulder pads were just like, I didn't know that was a thing for girls in the 80s, but they had bigger shoulders than the guys. But okay. But yeah, so she's shooting his ass to death. And the wire cuts to the bomb with 4 seconds left, thank God. And so she just exits the building. Again, she doesn't tell anybody what happened. Hey, there's a dead body down here. Nothing. She just walks out of the school. And who comes out behind her? Jason. He's still bleeding and pissing me off. And he's just basically like, oh, I got this bomb strapped to me. So, you want to hear my eulogy?
Like, why? She should have told him write it down.
And he just goes.
Everybody had been writing everything else.
Right. He goes on this sociopathic rant. I don't know what his point was of anything. Like, I don't get his motive behind anything. He's like, oh, this is going to be a mass suicide and we're the future and it was going to change. He's
trying to be like his father.
That's not, baby, he does construction. Like, there's a million buildings to go tear down. Why are you trying? I didn't understand any of his motive, but she pulled out a cigarette and started smoking. and he blows himself up. And everybody's like, what the hell was that? So they go running outside, and she was standing way too close to him because she looked singed. And she walked back. She walked back up in the school.
She really was singed.
She take that scrunchie from Heather, and she like, I'm the boss in town now, bitch. And then she going like, hey, Martha, let's hang out. We're gonna watch some movies. And Martha like, well, girl, well, don't touch my clothes. But yeah, we can do it.
Oh, and she also takes the scrunchie from Heather Duke and puts it in her hair. So basically, she's the queen bee now. And I guess we're all gonna be nice now.
Yeah, hopefully.
And Martha do donuts around her and her scooter, and the movie ends.
The movie ends. And that is Heather's. A dark comedy for the 80s. One of a kind.
I wish they would have focused more on the Heathers. I wish the Heathers... I don't know. I think...
It's like... Yeah, because from what I thought they all died. Yeah, I thought they all died. But apparently just one died, and then everything... It could have been two different movies. Yeah.
I wouldn't have watched the second one.
So, yeah.
So I'm going to give it a 5.
Damn.
Because I preferred the first one over the second one.
I hate you. Not the first one. I will give it a 6. There were black people. So, hey, there were black people in this 80s movie. So, a lot of the ones that came after, you got some splaining to do. Because I don't like that. But I guess I understand the message they were trying to convey. Maybe suicide was on the rise around this time. I don't know. It's like they were trying to do something, and then I don't know. I'll give it up to the fashion. I'll give it up to the 80s fashion that they did. They did, we do talk about in these movies how like they don't dress kids right, but we had a clear, these are the popular people with the shoulder blades, and the shoulder pads, and the holsters in the shoulder pads, because that's where they were keeping them guns. And then we had just regular students. There was one guy who had on a button down over a button down. Pissed me off. So it
was cold.
The fashion was it ranged. They had the stockings and all that stuff, the done up hair, so with the hairspray. So I will give it to the fashion of the times. I don't understand Jason Dean or his it was just weird. I couldn't understand. Like, why are you killing people? Maybe if they had touched on, maybe he's grieving over his mom dying. I don't know.
Like, I wonder if the movie was written focusing on the Heathers and some man came in and said, I have an idea. And changed the entire trajectory of the rest of the movie.
Right. Because it's like it started and then it was missing something. I don't know. But there are there are iconic lines. There are some funny lines. What did she say? Like, well, fuck
lick it up, bitch. Lick it up.
Yeah, it was just a lot of a lot of good one-liners. So I'll give them that. It was a dark comedy, so don't try to take it too seriously. But yeah, Winona Ryder was that girl. I don't know why she was still in them clothes.
I don't know either. But again, thanks, Gabrielle, for requesting this movie. We hope you enjoyed this review. Everybody else, send in your requests. We do have more requests coming up, and we'll review them when we get to them.
Yeah.
Because next month is March.
Oh, God. Please help me.
It's March, and it's magically delicious. So we definitely have to let you know that our next review will be Leprechaun 2. Part 2. He sneezes once. He sneezes twice. It'd be my pride when he sneezes thrice. That accent was terrible, but it's going to get better. I'm going to practice. I'm going to practice it in that time.
Right. Get ready for bad actresses playing bad actresses. Because, this second one is some shit. Oh, this some shit.
Well, all right, guys. We hope you enjoyed Heathers. But I got a motor if I'm going to catch RuPaul's Drag Race.
Bye, guys. Thank you for listening.
Bye.
Where did you hide it, Dan?